Okay, well, welcome again. This video is of my first sourdough bread journey. It was okay. There were a lot of fails. I didn't have any of the right equipment, but I made bread. So I just wanted to document how I did it, and hopefully next time when I have the right tools, it'll be better. So let's just get into it. If you hear my baby in the background, I apologize. We'll see if we can get through this. So I had my sourdough starter. It was way more sticky than I think it should have been. It might have, I don't know, it might have been too young of a starter. It had good bubbles and it doubled in size, but it was still very sticky. It was kind of hard to get out of the container and then out of the measuring cup there. I also regret using a wooden bowl, but the only other alternative was glass bowls, so I figured that would be better than, or sorry, metal bowls. The only alternative was metal bowls, so I feel like that was better than the metal. So I added the water, stirred that around, then started adding my flour, 2 cups at a time. I'll link the YouTuber who I kind of copied the recipe from. She's a homesteader that I follow quite a bit. So I mixed it up, added some more flour. I think I added probably around 3.5 to 4 cups total. I put 3 in here and then I started mixing with my hands. Decided it needed a little bit more. And then I think I eventually put even like maybe a 4th more, but I covered it with a wet towel. I didn't have a tea towel, but I left it for 30 minutes. It kind of got some volume, added a teaspoon of sea salt. I saw this trick on the video I watched to figure out how to do this, is dip your hands in some water and then maybe the dough won't stick, so I kind of pulled it a little bit, set a timer for 30 minutes and then also a stopwatch to keep track of the 3 hours total that I needed to be stretching and resting the dough. There I added some more flour also, because it's still way too sticky. You can see it's like pulling the whole bowl up and it's sticking to my fingers really bad. But I still had hope at this point. I've never done this before, so it was rising on my heating pad there. Let it rest again, another 30 minutes. I did that over the course of 3 hours, like I said. So then we took it out, and I needed to stretch it out and then start forming it into a bowl, or sorry, start forming it into a ball. It did pretty good here. Once I started getting it into a ball by pulling it across the counter, you'll see here in a second, it starts like ripping, kind of like there was too much surface tension. I don't know if that's a good thing, if that happens all the time. I don't feel like I've seen that in videos that I've watched where people make sourdough, but you see right there and there, it starts just like splitting a little bit. I guess it was fine in the end. Maybe it gave the bread some texture, but I hadn't seen that happen before. Let it rest for 15 minutes, covered in the damp towel, and then I picked it up and put it, I don't have a proofing basket, so I used just another towel, dish towel, lined with flour. I put the dough in, smooth side down. I definitely need to get the right tools before I try this again. A proofing basket, a Dutch oven. You don't really get to see what the inside of my oven looked like for this, how I kind of tried to figure out how to make it work. But if you go to my blog post, you can see a photo of it. Left it covered with parchment paper for 30 minutes, and then I took the stoneware insert from my crock pot that I had heating in the oven at 400 degrees for an hour. Took it out and then tried to get the dough in there. It was a little wonky. The parchment paper I didn't have the parchment paper lined up properly for the dough, so you'll see I'm going to get another piece of parchment paper to try to not have it stick to the stoneware, but it didn't work out great. So like I was saying with the inside of the oven, I had the bread in the stoneware. I had my cast iron that's enamel covered on the bottom rack with a glass pie pan filled with water, and you'll see I'm going to put some ice cubes in. And there was tin foil on both sides of the cast iron. So I just kind of did some research and tried to figure out how to make it work with what I had the best. Forget how long I left it in there. It was probably like 30 minutes. I took it in and out a few times, which I don't really show here because it's just me taking it in and out and checking it multiple times. But I think total it was over an hour. I actually had to leave halfway through, so after the first 30 minutes, I figured out that the inside of the dough was still kind of wet. It wasn't doughy per se, but it was still wet. The crust was really good. But I put it back in with the oven off, left the house for about an hour, came back, and then turned the oven back on when I checked it again and saw that nothing had changed. So I think I did that 3 times, and then I finally decided that it was good enough to eat, even though I'm not sure how safe that was. My husband and I ate probably 3/4 of it over the course of a few days before it got too hard, and then we threw it away. But I'm glad I tried. It wasn't a great success, but I was surprised that it even rose at all. And that was it. It took basically all day. If you want to see what the bread looked like at the end, because I realized I didn't film that, there's pictures of it on my blog. I will link. And yeah, I just wanted to document this so that next time when it goes better, I will be able to look back and see all the things that I did wrong and be able to learn from them. So thanks for watching.